Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a variation of the gray ghost. It's going to be a brown ghost. The hook that I have in the vise is this is a 4 extra long streamer hook. This is a size 6. I'm going to use black thread. We're going to put a base of thread on the hook. Bring that back to where the thread would hang at the barb if I not crimped it down. Just making some open loops there. In the winter time, I like to use streamers because the fish are looking for, especially the big fish, they're looking for some big bites. First thing we're going to put on is the body. For the body, I'm going to use white chenille. I'm going to pick the ends off there just to expose the thread. And now I'm going to put in the rib. And for this one I chose this is a blue and copper tinsel. This is a number 14 tinsel. I'm going to tie it in so I can see the blue side. So when I wrap it, we'll see the copper side. We're going to bring this back up to the front. And we want to stay a good eye length and a half away from the eye. We're going to take the chenille and we're going to wrap that forward. Some good tight wraps on there. And we're going to tie that off there. When you're using these long hooks, they bend a lot, so you're actually grabbing the hook shank a lot. I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. Could actually pluck off those little fuzzies there. Now we're going to take our rib, and that first one is going to go around the base of the hook or base of the body, and then we're going to wrap that forward. Make a nice tight wraps on that. And bring that up. And we're going to secure that. You can go ahead and bend this back and put a couple of wraps on top of it. That'll ensure it's not going anywhere. Now the first thing we're going to put on in wings, we're going to put a belly wing on. And for that, I'm going to use 2 golden pheasant crest feathers. If you don't have golden pheasant crest, you can go ahead and use some yellow bucktail. The whole object is to get a nice yellow belly there. There we go. We want it to come out to be about 1/4 longer than the shank. And we're going to tie that in. We have one on each side. There we go. A little bit of adjustment there, and I got it right in there. Go ahead and trim off that excess. And we're going to clean that up. Now we can go ahead and turn that back over. Now the first wing we're going to put on is brown hackle. And what I have here is, this is Chinese saddle hackle, strung saddle hackle. And match them up and trim them beforehand. Get those tips aligned. We want that 1.5 to 2 times the length of the hook shank. I'm going to trim that just a little bit. I'm going to put these right on top. And now for the second wing, I have a pair of gray saddle hackles, Chinese saddle hackles. And these were also the strung saddle hackle. I'm going to trim that there just a little bit. We want to get these one to each side of the browns. Those couple barbels, we could get rid of them when we get this tied in. There we go. Yeah, I got a couple barbels, like I said, off to the front. Just go ahead and trim them down. Remove them. Clean that up just a little bit. Now I'm going to turn it back over again, and I'm going to put a little bit of a throat on there. And for the throat, I'm just going to take, this is a Schlappen feather, but you could take the Marabou off any red or orange feather. And I want the shorter ones, just because they're closer to the size that I want. Put a little orange or red throat in there. Then we'll trim away that excess. Now before I do that, I'm going to lick my fingers there a little bit and get that under control. I trim away that excess. There we have gills. Turn that back over. And now I'm going to use some Peacock herl. I'm going to put about 4 or 5 strands on each side of the feather. And I got my strung Peacock herl, and I'm going to take the small ones. This is a good, when you're making streamers, it's a good chance to get those small Peacock herls out of there. I saved the long ones for tying, when I'm tying several dry flies. There we go. Let me put that back in my bag. I try to get a nice equal amount here. I'm going to tie these more or less on the side. Keep them towards the top but on the side. There we go. Take the other bunch. I'm going to tie them on my side. Keep them just about the same length. Doesn't really matter if you put them a little bit short of the tail or a little bit longer than the tail. Gotta control that throat there a little bit more again. And we're gonna remove these, trim off that excess, and we'll tidy up that head. And I'll form that head there a little bit. And I'm going to whip finish that. We'll trim that excess. And now you can go ahead and put some head on there. Put some head cement on there. But I'm going to go ahead and put some 3D eyes on there. I'm actually going to use blue 3D eyes, and these are 4mm. What I do, just use my bodkin to take them off the card and set them where I want them. I'm setting them halfway on the thread, halfway off the thread. See, I'll zoom in on this process there a little bit. Take the second one and put that in place on my side. You want to try to get these in place on the first try. You don't want to try to move them around too much, because the amount of glue that's on there, that's not what you're counting on to hold them on there. Now I'm going to use my Deer Creek. This is Diamond Fine. You can use Loon, whatever UV cure you have. Don't really recommend using any kind of a super glue, because it's way too messy and it just doesn't dry right. This UV cure, it lasts pretty long. Unless, of course, you're using it every single day. And you can see it dripping, and I'm going to let it even out by rotating my vise. And you can get it to level out there just by rotating your vise. And then I'm going to take my UV light and hit it with the UV light. Just 3 or 4 seconds is all that it needs, but going all the way around, I don't usually just do it 3 or 4 seconds. I like to ensure it's cured all the way through. And then when you're using it, the sunlight is actually going to cure it even more. And here we have the brown ghost. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. If you'd like to purchase this fly or any flies that I make, please go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.